Hello, my beautiful friends, and welcome to another video. So I want to talk to you today about IFS. It is Internal Family Systems, and it is an absolutely incredible healing modality created by Dr. Schwartz in somewhere around the 80s. And right when I discovered this, it has now forever been one of my main practices. I take clients through it in sessions, and I mean like psychic sessions when we find real energetic blocks and things in their reality. We can use this system to move those, to heal those, to reintegrate those. These parts of our souls that can get kind of fragmented off and stuck in our energy field. Like if our soulscape is in our heart space, and this is where our soul should reside, we can actually fraction off parts of our soul and put them in different parts of our energy field. Maybe we push them down into our body because we don't want to feel the pain, we want to ignore it, or we are ashamed of them. We want them to leave, maybe this younger version of ourselves. Or maybe we literally push them outside of our body because we had a really traumatic physical experience in our childhood and we tried to leave our body in a way. And so these are ways that parts of our soul can get stuck in different parts of our energy. And so IFS is a way to reintegrate these, okay? And so there's different ways you can go into this program. It's like, if you imagine it as steps, you can go in from the front of the steps, or you can go in from the back of the steps, like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. You can start at step 5, you can start at step 1. So you can kind of go different ways. So I'm going to explain what the system is, and then I'm going to take you through an example of how you could use it, okay, how to integrate it. Because I think that sometimes that's a little bit easier to grasp. So, but it is a pretty simple concept once you really once you get it. So what it is it is expressing that we have different parts, is what Dr. Schwartz calls it, of ourselves. So just imagine that our self, our physical, emotional, energetic self, that is all one system, okay? This is a me thing. I mean, I think I'm sure a lot of people talk about this, but you know, our emotional body, our energetic body, our spirit body, our soul body, our physical body, we love to use language to separate those things, but they're actually one system. They're working together. So we're really thinking about that as one system that is me, that is the self. What can happen is that we can have different voices inside that one system, different emotions inside that one system, and Dr. Schwartz calls them parts. So like maybe my anger is one emotion, one part. My anxiety is one emotion, one part, okay? And if you've ever seen the movie Inside Out, it's a Pixar movie, it is based on this practice. That is literally why they wrote the movie. So it's a very fun way to reiterate. It's a little bit different, but take whichever system works for you. You can watch the movie and think about it this way. Sometimes I like to think about it that way, but I'm going to explain the actual therapy practice. So yes, we have different parts, right, within ourselves, different energetic experiences. And sometimes it does literally help to personify those parts. If I had to close my eyes and I feel this anger version of me, what does it look like? Maybe it is a big, dark, squiggly ball that is like still its own energy and living, and it runs around and it goes up and it consumes things and da-da-da. You know, maybe it looks like a little blue guy who's scared and hiding in the corner, you know. It's nice to personify those and to kind of give those a name, give those an image so that you can continue to work with them in yourself throughout your life. This is for yourself. Or, you know, if you're guiding other clients through it, other people through it. So that's one part of IFS, is the fact that we have different parts, okay? And so within these different parts, they can exist within 3 categories. So we can have the exiles, which is kind of like our wounds, our childhood wounds, or just the wounded version of ourself. And then we can have what Dr. Schwartz, I call it the protectors, but he calls it the managers. The managers, okay? And these are the parts that are like managing the exile. And I think of it, again, more as a protector. They're protecting this wounded part of us, the exile part of us. So they can manifest in different ways. Like the wounded part can be literally like a 5-year-old version of us that's like energetically stuck in a dark corner, huddled up, crying, feeling exiled and unseen and scared. Okay? And then that manager, that protector part of ourselves can be like the anxiety that's like, I have to keep going and I have to keep moving and I have to keep accomplishing things and this will make me worthy. And maybe the exile wounded part is this little girl of you who thought she wasn't worthy. And so the anxiety part, we could call it, which is the protector, the manager, what that part is doing is it's trying to protect the unworthy part by like filling us with anxiety and being like, I have to move, I have to do, I have to accomplish because accomplishments make me worthy because this is what I was taught in childhood and that's what caused the wound in the first place. So these versions of us that we can get mad at, they can be the protectors sometimes, like, oh man, why am I so anxious? I hate my anxiety, or why do I feel so angry? I hate my anger, or, why do I feel insert blank? But actually, the revolutionary thought that can expand our reality is that anxiety, that part of us that we hate, is literally just protecting us. It has a job, a literal role. And it has been probably, say, if my wound was 5, it has been doing its job since I was 5 years old. Can you imagine that part of yourself? Just imagine that part of yourself, this anxiety that has been living in the space, in the energetic space of anxiety since you were 5 years old. So for me, that's 27 years. And did I just do the math right? Yeah, 27 years. And how exhausted that part of you must be. And can you have sympathy for that part? Can you be like, damn, you have been exhausting yourself, experiencing anxiety for 27 years, just trying to protect me, just trying to keep this poor 5-year-old version of me safe. Okay? It gives you a new perspective on it, okay? We're going to keep going and I'm going to talk about how we can really work with that. So these are the 2 categories. The third category is what Dr. Schwartz calls the firefighters. And sometimes I kind of group them with the protectors, but that can be, I do think that the third category is helpful though, because what this third category is, it's when, if the wound is there, what this system, these 3 categories of our different parts are trying to do is they're trying to keep the wound protected, sealed. But by doing that, it keeps it separated from our soul. It keeps it pushed down within our body. And then we are constantly acting from a place of this wound because it still exists within us. But it's trying to hide it. It doesn't want anyone to see it because it doesn't want it to get hurt. It's trying to protect it. But there are still moments that wound like comes through. It's like we can just get overly anxious and we can't handle it anymore and we burst. Or the anxiety is not keeping the wound at bay. And so maybe we turn to an addiction, a numbing agent, food, drugs, alcohol, maybe the wound of unworthiness keeps us from being in other relationships. So it can be physically really like bursting up and affecting. It can make its way through the protector and really be manifesting itself into the reality. And that's when our firefighter parts kind of kick in because they're like, oh no, put out the fire. And they do that that can be the addictions, the numbing ourselves. It's like still parts of ourselves that can be pushing somebody away, pushing the partner away. It's these kind of more dramatic experiences and versions of ourselves that are literally just trying to put out the fire because the protector or the manager isn't doing its job in that moment because it just burst through. However, once we start to understand that we have these different categories, these different parts within ourselves, which it's funny because before I understood that this system existed, I would do psychic readings with people and I would see these energetic versions of them, these different parts of their souls manifesting as different ages of themselves stuck within their energy field. And this is exactly what I would see. I would see a 5-year-old stuck in the dark depths of a person's body. And then I would see like all of this gunk or like buzzing energy of like anxiety around it. And then sometimes even on the outside, you'd see even more gunk of like the firefighter or protector. And so I would see this literally manifesting in a lot of people, honestly, like 9 out of 10, I would say maybe 8 out of 10, but a lot of people's realities. Okay. And doesn't make us bad people. It's not a bad thing to have this. It makes us human. And the more that we bring awareness to these things and the more we do practices like IFS and work with these things, the more we release them and integrate them. And then, you come to me for a reading and I don't see these things. Maybe I see, you know, your beautiful past life as a queen in freaking Atlantis or something. Anyways, but they can, these experiences, you know, we have another dramatic experience in our life, and then we have a new version of this, and we're human. There's nothing wrong with having these, is what I'm trying to say. And so when I first learned IFS, I was just like, this is wonderful. This is a simple, clear naming system to work with these. So now that you understand the three categories and the parts, hoping you understand, let's talk about how to use this system in a real life example. Okay, so a lot of times when I'm working with a client, actually, no, instead of me doing it in the client's point of view, let's just do it in the self point of view. So, you know, because you are your own healer. You don't need a healer. You don't need a psychic. You can do this yourself. So let's say that I am experiencing anxiety. We'll stick with that example. And it is just becoming more than I can bear. Or I'm just aware that we have these parts of ourselves. So I'm going to, like, in my own safe space, my own room, my own time and space, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to be with my anxiety, and I'm going to sit with it. I'm going to breathe. I'm going to close my eyes, and I'm going to start to talk to the energetic experience of my anxiety. And I'm going to say, hey, you know, hey babe, what's up? I feel you. This is really intense. And just breathe, you know, feel that physical sensation moving in your body of anxiety, and just allow it. Okay. This space that we are creating, we are not trying to push it down. We are not trying to shove it away. We're not trying to get rid of it. That's what creates all of these wounds, these exiles, these soul fragmentations. Okay. What reintegrates soul retrieval and brings that piece back into ourself and heals that and dissolves that. What actually dissolves this is witnessing the experience, is witnessing these versions of ourselves, these parts of ourselves, and just talking to them. I swear to God. And sometimes the hardest part is just that first time that we decide to do it. It's just making the first choice to do it because we think it's going to be so difficult. And then in that first moment, you realize, wow, I feel amazing afterwards. That was great. Even though maybe the experience was like a little tough, because it was my first time and I'm still learning. And then the next time you do it, it gets easier and better and better. And now I'm like, let's sit down and do an IFS system or IFS experience. Like, that'll be wonderful. So anyway, so we're going to be in our safe space. I'm laying on my bed. I'm talking to my anxiety. And I'm going to start to, step one for me at least, is I'm going to start to try to imagine, what does it look like? And for me, literally, my anxiety kind of manifests as this like squiggly black thing. If you just imagine taking a black pen and just going like this on a piece of paper and then it manifesting in a 3D experience, that's how I see my anxiety. And sometimes it grows and it consumes me and it literally feels like it's like, and then sometimes it's in a rest state. Okay, and so that's the goal. We're going to get into a rest state. And so I'm going to talk to it. I'm going to be like, wow, I'm going to respect it because it is a part of me. It is a version of me. It is me. It is never going away. It is me. Okay. So I'm going to talk to it. I'm going to be like, man, I super respect you. I got a lot of love for you. How are you feeling? And it's like, oh, I'm feeling crazy. This is really intense. And I'm breathing. I'm feeling the physical sensations of anxiety. I'm here in this safe space specifically to feel this. I'm breathing into it. No problem. You're okay. You're safe. And you're going to talk to it and have a conversation with it, and it will respond to you. And you might be like, I feel crazy. Or you might be like, how do I hear it? What is the thought that instantly comes to you when you talk to it? And that is it. The only time that it might not be it is when the literal like IFS part of us called judgment comes in. Or shame. Okay, so the emotion of judgment, the emotion of shame, these things are also parts of us. And so if you're hearing a voice in your head that sounds like your judgment or shame and not like anxiety, then you want to pause. Hey, anxiety, give me 1 second. I'm going to talk to judgment, okay? And you bring judgment in front of you and you can ask it what it looks like and you can start to see it and you can talk to it and be like, hey, judgment, I love you. There's nothing wrong with you. But I want to just ask if I can talk to anxiety and a couple other parts of myself right now. And would you mind just stepping aside? I don't want you to leave. I don't want to push you away. I'm going to bring you back at the end of this session and we're going to talk again, okay? And you're going to help me decide how we're going to live our lives. But right now, I just want you to step aside and just witness what I'm going to do. And then we're going to come back and talk to judgment, okay? So that's how you want to handle judgment and shame. And then you come back to anxiety and you're like, okay, babe, What's going on? What do you need? First, you can ask it. Maybe you don't even know what the emotion is. Maybe you're just like feeling this really big physical sensation in your body. And so you want to, in your safe space in your bed, you're breathing into it and you're looking at it. You're like, hey, what do you look like? It starts to show you an image. And then you want to ask, hey, what's your job? What's your role? And maybe it starts to show you like that it runs around like this, or maybe it tells you straight up it's anxiety, and you can start to understand and decide for yourself and feel into and ask it, what is its role? What is its job? Okay, cool. Your job is anxiety. How long have you been doing that? Well, and then it's like, all of a sudden I see myself as 5 years old, or I hear 5, or long time, an answer is coming in. I'm like, wow, that's wild. You've been doing this for so long. Like, thank you so much for protecting me for so long. Like you've got to be exhausted, right? And it's probably like, yeah, I'm so tired. And you'd be like, and then you ask it, what do you need? Here's like, these are the steps. Who are you? What do you look like? What's your job? How long have you been doing that for? What do you need? Kind of the really prominent, important ones are, what's your job? What do you need? And so it's probably going to be like, I need rest. Oh, I'm so tired. Or it's going to say, I need to be seen. I just want to be witnessed. Or it's going to say, I need to protect this part of you, blah, 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 or me. I'm trying to protect, I just have to go. Whatever it's going to answer, you're going to sit and witness and listen to that. And then try to give it what it needs, okay? And this can go in one of two ways. Maybe you're going to be able to give it the rest it needs, and I'll explain how to do that in a moment, and it's going to step aside, and then you're going to be able to start to work with the exile or the wounded version of you. Or maybe it's not going to get out of the way because it wants to protect that, and it doesn't want to go into a state of rest because it's trying to be the protector. And in that moment, you can say, hey, would you mind, you can stay with me, but would you step aside and walk with me? I want to talk to the wounded version behind you. You can come with me and help me. Is that okay? But I want to talk. I want to be in charge here. Would you do that for me? Would you do that with me? And then you get its permission. You make it feel safe. The whole point is that these different parts of us create different experiences in our nervous system. And so the point is that we want to witness each part of ourselves. We want to give it what it needs. We want to take it into a state of rest and love, and by witnessing it and acknowledging that it's there. And then therefore we are literally creating a safe space within our own nervous system and our own body, and you will walk in the world differently. You will show up in every way differently, and it'll be magical. The other thing that I haven't mentioned yet, which please forgive me, is that one really important part of IFS that Dr. Schwartz talks about is that we have our self, our core self, which is the version of me right now, right here, the version that is in charge. I also like to personally look at it as my higher self, okay? It's like this all-knowing, compassionate, wise, aged version of you that is in charge. And so the goal with IFS and with this the system that I take people through and suggest is that we want these different parts, these anxieties, these wounds, these firefighters to come into a place where they've been witnessed and loved and seen so they can rest. And then we want to show them that the self, the higher self, is the one in charge running the show, and they can trust that, and they can surrender, and they can rest because our higher self is guiding us now. And we want to actually bring our higher self in to guide us, okay? So that's kind of the version that's showing up, that's talking to these different parts of you. It's your core self, your higher self. And so coming back to talking to anxiety, because we want to try to get to that wounded version of ourselves and talk to that version. And so, again, it happens in one of two ways. So say the first way is that I do get it to go into a state of rest. And so what I'm going to do is I'm talking to it. What do you need? What's your job? What do you need? And it's probably going to, if it, it'll tell me different things. Maybe it just wants to be witnessed and heard. Maybe it wants you to jump up and down and move some energy. Just do what it needs, whatever it asks for, within boundaries, but I'm sure you've got this. And then it's going to probably get to a point where it wants to rest. And so then you can ask it, where do you want to rest? Anywhere in the world. A beautiful garden, a cozy cabin with next to a fireplace with hot cocoa and a blanket, and create that space in your imagination. give it everything it wants, it needs, it deserves, and allow it to go there and rest. And pick a part of your body that you want that to come back and integrate to. You know what, I'm going to let my anxiety live right here in my left forearm. You come and you be here, and this is your home, and that beautiful garden is there, and anxiety is just resting in the grass, absorbing sun there, okay? And that's wonderful. Or if it isn't ready to rest and it wants to come with you to talk to the wound, then you're like, can I talk to the wound? Will you come with me? I'm gonna lead this, like, just so you know, the core self is here now. The higher self is here now. This is what the higher self is. I am a 32-year-old grown woman now. I am okay. I'm stable. I am love. I'm compassion. I see you. I'm safe. I'm ready to be here for you. I'm ready to take care of you. I'm ready to love you. And you can trust me. Can you let me lead? And can you come with me and you can witness what I do with the wound? And you can be right there with me. And so it's going to come with you, and then maybe later, after you put the wound into a state of rest, you put anxiety into a state of rest, okay, with the same system that I just explained with going into the forearm and such. And so then you get to that core wound, that exile, as Dr. Schwartz calls it. And that is the part of our soul that has been fragmented out of our soul and shoved into a different part of our energy body. So when we have multiple versions of this that can be, you know, our 5-year-old self, our 8-year-old self, 13, 24, 28, you know, these different versions of ourselves, it's almost as if like an energetic experience is I have my, like, some of my soul here and then some of it here and some of it up there and some of it, and it's all over the place, and it feels like I'm scattered. It feels like my energy is scattered. It feels like I'm being pulled in all these different directions, and there's all these protectors flaring up and these firefighters, and I just can't get a hold of myself. I'm not in charge. I'm getting pulled in 20 different directions, one moment by anger, one moment by anxiety. So by doing this practice, we literally visualize bringing all of these parts of your soul back into one space and bringing all of their protectors into a state of rest within your body. You feel whole. You walk in the world differently. You feel grounded, like you can breathe, like you are in charge, like you exist, and everything's clear and sharp. It's wonderful. So we're going to talk to this core wound version of ourselves. And what we're going to do here is very similar to what I just did with anxiety. And make it intuitive practice, okay? Like, what do you want to ask it? But usually I show up and I just want to see it. I just want to hold it. At that point, it's like, it's a 5-year-old version of me that's crumbled up in a dark hole in this ball in a corner of my body. And my eyes are closed, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go into this wound now, and I kind of let it show itself to me, okay? And if, you know, maybe you're not clairvoyant, maybe you don't experience things the way I do, and that's fine. You know, then imagine, what does this version, what do you think she looks like? What does she feel like? And be with her and talk to her and start to experience her and just feel her pain. Just be like, hey, I'm here. You know, I'm Heather. I'm you. I'm 32 years old. Because normally these different younger versions of ourselves do not know that we're an adult. They do not know. They think that they're frozen as a 5-year-old. They don't know you've kept growing and living. They're in shock. They're stuck. And so you talk to them, hey, I'm here. I'm safe. Like, can I hold you? You look really scared. Maybe they don't want to be held. And you keep letting your intuition guide you through this experience of what do they need. And so normally, you know, we need to hold them. You know, I'm the 32-year-old version of me, and I'm going to hold you, and I'm going to love you. And I just cry on my shoulder. Just let me witness you. Let me feel your sadness. Let me witness your pain. Let me feel your pain. Let's together cry and feel that. And I'm going to talk to it. I'm going to be like, you should have never gone through that. You didn't deserve that. I love you so much. You're safe now. It's okay. I see you. I hear you. I witness you. I feel you. And that's usually what that core wound needs. That exile needs is to be seen. It just wants somebody to witness what it went through and hear its story and feel its pain and hold it, okay? So we do that for ourselves. And if you want, you can also put yourself energetically in that version of yourself, that 5-year-old version, and imagine, feel the adult version of you, the higher self, the core self version of you holding you, and just let go, cry, be in that experience as long as you need, feel that, okay? And then you usually ask it, what do you need? Or beyond that, once it's being witnessed and held and crying and being seen, it then probably wants to rest. Or maybe it wants to play. It just wants to be a child. So just like we did with the anxiety, ask it, where would it like to be anywhere in the world? You put it, maybe it wants to be on the London Bell Tower and it wants to play through the rafters in there. I don't know. Let it be anywhere it freaking wants. Imagine that. Create that in your imagination. Allow that part of you to be there. And then bring them back into your heart to live. Imagine and feel you energetically drawing them back into your heart in that space to live. It's not that they're trapped there. They're free. They can come out anytime. You can, next week, you could be driving down the road and you can be like, think about that 5-year-old version of you and you're like, hey girl, come sit with me on the passenger seat. Let's talk. Let's sing our favorite song when we were little. And it can even say, one of its needs could be, I don't want to be forgotten. Okay, then I'm going to make the intention every Monday during my morning meditation. I'm going to bring you out and you can meditate with me and we're going to sit together. And this is going to be my promise to you. Okay, so it's like we give them what they need, but we want to feel them and we want to invite them. And it's not force. It's not like, oh, come into my heart. It's like openness. Feel your heart. Feel into your heart space, the physical sensation of right here. Close your eyes and just bring your attention into this space. And imagine opening it like a beautiful flower. Imagine a beautiful flower opening here. And that flower is the invitation to invite them back into your heart space. And maybe you're imagining that they're over here and they're in a field of flowers playing, and you invite them, hey, would you like to come live in this flower? Whether they're in a field of flowers or in a cabin or in the London Bell Tower, wherever they are. Imagine this flower opening and invite them in, and just like be there as long as you need to be there, and watch as they come in. You can keep reminding them, I'm safe, I'm love, I am you, I am your higher self, I am in charge, I've got you, I'm going to protect you, I'm going to hold you, I'm going to meet your needs. And then it comes in and it lives in that heart space. And that is literally the act of soul retrieval, okay? You just literally retrieved a part of your soul that was stuck in your energy field and brought it into yourself. That is profound, incredible stuff. And you can do it right here, right now, all by yourself, okay? And so you want to keep doing that, okay? Like maybe another moment you feel anger and then you do the same practice. You sit with it. Oh, let me imagine, what does anger look like? Tell me, anger, what's your role? You don't have to know what's going on or why you feel a certain way before you start this. That is not the point. The point is in this practice, you understand what's going on and why you feel this. So you get all your questions. You might not even be able to label that it's anger. And you just sit down and you're like, oh, my physical body feels so intense. I feel so intense or impatient or raw. Just lay down and start to figure out where in the body is the physical sensation. Maybe you're like, I'm so impatient and I'm like raw, and then I lay down and I'm like, okay, where is this? What physical sensations are happening in my body? Okay, can I locate where they are? Maybe they're all mainly right here. Maybe there's a bunch of them happening at once. Which one is the most prominent? Which one is getting your attention first? Let's talk to that one. And so maybe you start to sit with it. You ask it, what's its role? What does it need? You learn that it's anger. And then maybe as you're starting to calm down anger and you're starting to get to know it and experience anger, that part of you, maybe anxiety comes in and now anxiety is the most prominent part in your reality right now. And you're like, anger, you know what? I'm not leaving you. I'm going to come back. But let me talk to anxiety for a moment. And you start to talk to anxiety. And maybe the first time you do this, especially if there's a lot physically sensations and emotional reactions in the moment happening with you, you might have to do this a couple times. Maybe anxiety starts to calm down and then you're like, sadness. And then you're like, oh, okay, hold on, anxiety. I'm going to come back. I need to talk to sadness. And so then you just let it guide you. Let your body and your emotions guide you. What's the most prominent? And maybe you start to kind of even them out and they're all feeling even and you're like, which one should I talk to first? Whichever one calls to you. And so then you bring sadness into a state of rest. And then you go into the wound and you bring that wound back into your soul. And then you go into the anger and you start to this was anxiety over here. You start to bring the anxiety into a state of rest. But then before you're able to, anger kicks back in. You got to go to anger and you bring that into the state of rest. And then you bring the wound into a state. And then you go back to this anxiety. Let it bring you back and forth. It's okay. And then we're going to remember at the very end, we have judgment and shame over here that we asked to step aside. And it so kindly did so that we could have this experience. So then don't forget, we're going to invite judgment and shame back. And you're going to invite them back and you're going to be like hanging out with them. You can see what they look like. You can be talking to them, feel them in your energy field, whatever. And you're like, Thank you. Thank you for stepping aside. What do you think of what I just did? How do you feel? And I bet you I bet you judgment and shame are going to say, that was pretty cool. I like what you did. Okay, cool, no problem. Be like, thanks. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Okay, cool. Like, would you like to go into a state of rest and relax now too? And the higher self is here, the core self is here, and I'm running the show and I'll be here now. And it's like, yeah, we trust you. Cool. And witness how throughout your life then judgment starts to kind of step aside more and more, because it is constantly getting to experience that not only is it appreciated and witnessed and heard, but that it can also trust your core self. It can trust your higher self, okay? And it keeps having that experience. And so the next time that you have to lay down and do something like this again, you're going to know what anxiety looks like. You're going to know its voice and what it feels like. You're going to know what your anger looks like. And you can kind of keep doing this. And I bet you it's going to be like anger is still protecting that same version of you. So maybe that same version of you that you put in a beautiful field to play in your heart, maybe it's still there, but maybe she's just feeling a little scared. She needs to be a little witnessed, and so that triggered your anger again. And so it's a much different experience the second, third, fourth time, and it just keeps getting easier and easier. And then maybe, it ends up that wound is still, like, the core wound is now healed, and it's there, and it's in rest, and it's playing, but anger is just a little, like, on edge today, and you just have to sit with anger and be like, what's up, anger? What do you need? Yeah. Or maybe then you find a new part of yourself, okay? So IFS, absolutely love it. Absolutely wonderful. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, any of those things, drop it in the comment box below. Also, just please remember that all of these things that I share here on this channel are just options. This is not one way how to live your life, okay? You are an intuitive, incredible human being and healer. Your intuition, your gut feeling, your heart, they are guiding you as to what is best for you. So take what resonates with you, leave the rest, okay? I don't personally believe that we're meant to have like one religion. Each individual person is meant to have a revelation. And then sometimes somebody has such a big revelation that they turn that into a religion and they're like, this worked for me, let's make it work for everybody else, come follow me. But I think what they missed was that was supposed to be a personal revelation. And yes, parts of that can inspire and help others, but we're all meant to have our own revelations. We're all, therefore, I believe, meant to have our own religions. So what resonates with you, take it, leave the rest. That's beautiful and perfect and wonderful and divine for you. You are an incredible intuitive healer. I love you all lots. And if you have other things you want me to talk about, touch on, you have questions, things you want me to make videos about, please leave those in the comments below. I love, love, love that stuff. And I send you all so much love and have a wonderful, wonderful day.